Okay, so Paladins is officially out of beta. I've been thinking about making another tier list for a while. Last tier list I had major mistakes on the healers. For example, Grok was number 1 on the healer tier list. And yeah, I said earlier on the other tier list that I wouldn't really know too much about like every character. I've played every character to an extent, but last tier list I wasn't taking like 100% of complications into consideration, or the majority of complication. So right now I'm just going to make the best healer tier list, or like the tier list to, you know, who's the worst, who's the best healer, with lots of complications in. So right now we have the worst healer, which is Grok. His healing totem's okay, but if people go after it, then your team's healing kind of stops. Especially if there's someone like a Victor, like a Grenadier Victor, with Shrapnel, throws a grenade, hits team and the totem, throws another grenade, totem's basically gone. He's got a card to increase the health of the totem to bring it to about 2,250, which is pretty okay. But let's say if there's like a Drogos that has a bulldozer, he just shoots it once and it's gone. Just one shot the totem. So yeah, it's not good, like, at all. I mean, it's kind of good for saving someone's life when they're about to get pulled into some type of crowd control combo. Maybe you could use Totemic Ward and just put it down instantly. Well, give them the crowd control immunity instantly and save them. There's also combat viability, but right now we're just strictly going for healing viability, because combat viability, Grok is actually really good. Okay, so not the worst, but really bad healer, Ying. She's good. Like, her clones heal a lot, and it's around the same health for that Grok's totem heals for, around 420 every second. And she has legendaries that let her clones heal multiple people and things like that. But she's a deployable healer, which instantly brings her lower on the tier list because deployables can be destroyed. And like, the heals, they're not that good. Like, they can't heal through walls or anything. And she has an ult that heals every ally around the map. It's a really good ult, and it's nice to use once in a while, but it's not like the most OP thing on the planet, and it's the ultimate, so it's like you gotta wait sometimes. And with morale boost, you can kind of spam her ult, which makes her a little bit better, but you can also do that with Grok. Grok's ult is very nice. It's pretty OP. It damages allies, heals teammates. You basically get lifesteal, because if you damage allies, or damage enemies, what the heck, I meant enemies earlier, by the way, you heal for a lot. Okay, so third to worst, where was it? There aren't a lot of healers in this game. So third to worst would be Pip. Now, don't get me wrong, like, Pip's good, of course, but he's not extremely good. If you have that potion cooldown card, the card still has a cooldown, so you can't just like spam it like you used to be able to when there's a group together. And his healing is very cauterizable in comparison to most healers. His combat viability is extremely well, and his ult doesn't really heal, but it like supports the team by turning them to chickens. So combat viability is on point. Healing viability, it's better than Grok and Ying, but it's not good in comparison to some of the others. And then you have Maldamba. Maldamba is a really good healer, and like comparison to Pip, Maldamba is really good. If you have good aim, Mending Spirits is like really OP for allies, and Gourd damages enemies and heals allies, instantly making it very assist worthy. And he's just like really good, like especially if you have, sorry about that though, especially if you have Wikinos, or no, not Wikinos, Spirits chosen, you can just spam Mending Spirits on allies, and he has cards. I mean, a lot of healers have cards like this, but he's just one of those healers that just have cards that can reduce cooldowns when getting an elimination, which would really help the team. And his healing isn't that cauterizable. Like if someone has 90% cauterize, you can still do well when you're healing with this character. So he's really great, and his ult is also pretty great. So he's got, oh, and he can also stun by reloading. So he's got amazing combat viability. He's got good crowd control. He's got amazing healing. He's really good healer. And then right on top of Maldamba, you have Sarist with the T at the end of the name, because that's the way she pronounces it. Sarist, she's an amazing healer. There's just one issue, is that she can't heal through walls. If she could heal through walls, she'd most likely be number 1 on the list. But just because she can't heal through walls, well, she can heal through walls, but you must target a teammate that's not through walls first. If she could heal through walls, she'd legit be the best. Mortal Reach, which is good for game modes like Siege. Void Abides, which is good for the group, and that's actually really good legendary that they added for Sarist. She has good combat viability. She kills very quickly, and she can basically, like, if someone's trying to janitor you after you kill someone, you have like a low health left, you could just rend soul, and your health basically, it says 15% of your maximum life, but I really don't think so. I use rend soul and I heal by like my whole health bar. Oh, it's every charge detonated, never mind. So yeah, it's 15 times 4. So it's pretty OP. That's 60% of your health, and it's good when it comes to combat, because no one can really generate you unless they have full cauterize. That's one thing that's not that good about her. If you have full cauterize, then Rend Soul's healing isn't really too good. Now her restore soul healing, even if it's cauterized, it's still very, very good. Like 100 health per second if it's at 90% cauterized, which is good. And yes, there are characters like Willow where they can cauterize but 100%, but I'm not going to go too far into that. So okay, so next you have Genos right here. Genos, he can heal through walls. He's got pretty good healing. Now it's not for a ton of health per second, but it lasts, and even if cauterized, like, it's still very good. And he can buff allies, damage, and all that. He's got Celestial Touch, so if you have a front line you like to spam the mark on, the front line will kind of be invincible. Well, not really. There's no kind of invincible. He'll still be vulnerable to everything and will still die, but it'll be hard to kill him unless the team has full record and full cauterize. He's got Stellar Wind, which lets him get to places very quickly. He's got Void Grip, which is a good assist move, especially if you have something like, what's that card called? Falling Star, where it's like you Void Grip someone. Like, you could put a mark on someone, Void Grip an enemy, they killed that Void Gripped enemy, you could put a mark on another person and Void Grip another enemy and have them kill that enemy. If you have a team that's very good at killing who you Void Gripped, Falling Star will just be the best card in the game pretty much. So yeah, extremely good combat viability too. He's got amazing lifesteal and this card relativity, and he's just hard to fight, like really hard to fight. And then you have Grover, the best healer in the game. Okay, like, you can get best healing with them by legit just doing nothing, but I'd still recommend doing things. I always get Efflorescence because it increases the passive healing. Now, Rampant Blooming is good, I guess, but Blossom has like a 12-second cooldown, and Efflorescence has better heals than Rampant Blooming anyways, especially when you're just like sitting behind your base and you're healing the teammates from an incredible distance. And also, especially now where he can heal through walls, this is why he's the best healer, because now he can heal through walls. Teammates can no longer just run away from your healing. That's one thing I hate, is when teammates try to like run away from your healing because they just don't want you to get healing credits and they want your team to lose. Those are the worst teammates. And with Grover, you can always just get to them and just be like, no, you're taking my healing, there's no running. And he's just so good at healing the whole team at once. Alright? Like, and if you're good at hiding with them and no one can find you, it's just annoying because you just see the team just healing up and you're like, where is that Grover at? I think I made a video on that actually. And he has things like Verdant Expanse, which, if I remember, also increases the passive range of the Blossom too, making it even wider. And it's just like, well, not really wider, but you know, making it cover more distance. And that's just like the best thing, really. So he's just the best healer, pretty much. Oh, he's also got extremely amazing combat viability. I think he's actually one of the best combat characters in the game. Like, if you're a really good Grover and you're fighting something like a really good Talus, you could probably kill him and still have like 3/4 of your health left. And I'm gonna use Talus as the default character because he used to be the most OP character in the game till some nerfs and things like that. And now he's just like the default character, like the medium power character. So I like to use him to basically represent a character's power. And that's what you have with Grover. So he's basically the best. And that's really it. That's the worst to the best healers. Now, if I were to put them on tiers, what I was mainly supposed to do, I'd put Ying on something like D tier, put Grok on D tier. Who else? I'll put Pip on like C tier, and I'll put Maldamba on B tier, and then I'll put Sarist on A tier. I put Genos on S tier, and I'll put Grover on SS tier. So that's what you basically have if there's a tier list. So that's the healer tier list. I might cover another tier list tomorrow because I want to get into this game. So, see ya.